Hey, welcome everyone, and this is David. I wanted to talk for Shin Megami Tensei V for a while now, and with the recent announcement that Tokyo Game Show 2020 was cancelled due to COVID-19, I felt like now was the right time to summarize everything that we know so far about the game. And when should we expect new announcement from Atlus for the next installment in the Megami franchise? Just before I get into the topic of this video, I want to announce that as a Shin Megami Tensei fan, I'll be covering 100% of Shin Megami Tensei V on this channel. I'll cover news on the game before it comes out, I'll react to new trailers and announcements, and obviously we'll be covering the game once it comes out as well. So if you don't want to miss anything about Shin Megami Tensei V and Atlus, click the subscribe button. We'll see you again in other videos. Now, here's everything that we know about Shin Megami Tensei V so far. Shin Megami Tensei V was announced in January 2020 during the Nintendo Switch reveal event as part of the celebration for the 25th anniversary of Shin Megami Tensei as well. During that event, we saw a first teaser for the game but no release date. We only knew at the time that Shin Megami Tensei V would be an exclusive on the Nintendo Switch. I think personally that the game was announced so soon since first, it was the anniversary of the franchise as I said, and second, and most importantly, Nintendo wanted to prove to their fans that they would have JRPG support on their new hardware, since the support on the Wii U was a big fat zero as far as JRPG goes. In this presentation, they showed Dragon Quest XI-S as a major port from Square, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, first party title, and of course, the new exclusive from Atlus, Megami Tensei V. Let's keep up with what we know so far. As you can see by the title, SMT V is the 5th installment in the long-running SMT franchise. It is an exclusive RPG developed by Atlus for the Nintendo Switch, and the game is being developed on Unreal Engine 4, which is an engine that is being used for a lot of games on the Switch, such as Dragon Ball FighterZ, Dragon Quest XI-S as mentioned before, Octopath Traveler, and much more. The fact that they're using Unreal Engine 4 is a good thing, since the engine has made itself known on the Switch, but it's also not a good thing since it's the first time that Atlus is using the engine. Let's hope that it won't be a nuisance to the development of the game. The producer for SMT V is Kazuyuki Yame, the same producer behind the last installment in the franchise, SMT4 on the 3DS, and he's also the director behind SMT Nocturne back on the PS2, so he has a good luggage behind him. Mr. Yame said they want to capture the charm of SMT Nocturne, the third installment in the Megami franchise, so we can obviously expect some similar setting from both games, in my opinion. We also know that the game will be released, for now it's confirmed, to Japan, North America, and Europe. We also know that the game started full-scale development in February 2018. We learned that from the producer of the game himself in an interview that he gave to 4Gamer. I'll link the article in the description below if you want to check it out. It's very interesting. He says a lot of things about SMT V and the development for the game. And at the end of 2019, the official Megaton Atlus Japan Twitter account, they tweeted New Year wishes to their fans, and they also told them to expect SMT V news during the upcoming year. I know this is not a lot, but unfortunately this is all we know so far about SMT V. For the next segment of this video, I wanted to give my thoughts on when we will get new information from Atlus about SMT V, and to answer this question with me I have a special guest that will give us his thought about that exact question.
What's up guys, how's it going? This is Kuro with the Minute Channel, and I've been asked about my personal opinion on what I think SMT V will be releasing in, or when we'll be getting any kind of news regarding SMT V. This is honestly one of the hardest things to answer. In my personal opinion, and this is coming from just myself, this is so many variables that we need to keep in consideration here. Recently, obviously, we have the outbreak of the COVID-19. Obviously, I do believe that this is going to affect production in some kind of way, whether it is on a kind of announcement or anything like that. The other thing to consider just outside of that is Atlus has said 2 years in a row that they will be giving us some kind of update, and they have actually failed completely as far as giving us any kind of update. So if I were to put my guess, this year they actually did not even mention giving an update. They just said still working on the project. So I think it's very doubtful that we hear this year anything regarding SMT V. I think we'll probably hear something regarding that sometime either next year or the year after that, and this is just an announcement, a kind of trailer or anything like that. This isn't like actual release date or anything. I don't think that a release date is gonna come out close. There's so many variables that I'm sure already David went into talking about it. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I can tell you guys. I'll pass it up to David. I'm sure he has more to say.
Thank you, Kuro, for giving us your thoughts. Don't hesitate to go check his channel. By the way, his YouTube page goes by the name of the Midnight Channel on YouTube, and he creates awesome content. Go check him out, guys. And for my part, I've been keeping a watch on SMT 5, and I was expecting some news during TGS 2020, which was planned for September 2020. I was not expecting a release date or anything like that, of course, but more of a small update on how is the development going for the game. And also, that would have been great, but a small trailer for the game. This is something I was expecting as well. But unfortunately, the event was cancelled due to COVID-19. Now, I don't really know when we will get news for the game, but hopefully before the end of the year, we will get some updates from Atlus, as they tweeted during their New Year tweet. But if we don't get news by then, unfortunately, I think that TGS 2021 would be my bet. Another question that I hear very often is, when will the game release? I think we should contain our expectations and not expect a release in the next 2 years minimum, and here's why. The game was announced in January 2017. Atlus is of course well known for taking a lot of time to release their games. If we look at mainline SMT, for example, SMT 3 Nocturne came out in Japan in 2003, and SMT 4 came out 10 years later in 2013. But at the same time, SMT4 did really well for them on the 3DS, and Atlus has gained a lot of momentum since the release of Persona 5 on the PS4, so I think that they would want to push the game out on the Switch ASAP, especially since the console is doing extremely well right now. Another thing that I know I briefly talked about it previously when I described everything that we know so far, SMT5 is their first HD game for the franchise, and it's the studio's first time working with the Switch hardware and the Unreal Engine 4, which is the engine that SMT5 is running on. I would think that it is definitely a challenge for the team to overcome those two things. I'm not a developer, but that would be my bet. This is two new things for them. There is also the fact that there will be a lot of demons in the game, and they have to redo the models for every single one of them. This is definitely some hard work for Atlus. A similar thing happened with the Pokemon Company with the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield as their first HD debut for the franchise. The Pokemon Company decided to skip on the national dex, and that caused a major controversy, and their answer to that was that it would take them way too long to remodel over 800 Pokemons or so. So for a small studio, well, a smaller studio like Atlus, it is a big challenge to remodel all their demons that they have. And for my part, I'd rather have them take their sweet time and not rush the game. Back in the 3DS days, you'll probably tell me that Atlus was pumping out those SMT games and ports pretty quickly, but that proves my point. This is because they were able to reuse the models for every demon in every game, so that was way quicker for them to pump out those games. So as far as a release date goes, I don't want to predict the date, honestly. As a fan of the franchise, as much as I can't wait for the game, I mean it's my most anticipated game on the Switch, I still want Atlus to take their time and make a good game. I agree with the Megaton community though, and I think that Atlus should at least give us updates on the game. I mean, when you type SMT5 on Google, and that's a fun fact, the first suggestion is SMT5 cancelled? I think that says something about how much info Atlus gave us, the fans. So this is it for this video, guys. That sums up everything that we know so far about SMT5 coming to the Nintendo Switch, and also my thoughts on when to expect news and the release date for the game. I want to let you guys know again that I will cover SMT5 a lot on the channel, so if you liked this video and you want more content like this and content on SMT5 and JRPGs for the Switch, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And if you want to support the channel, I also really appreciate every like that you put on this video, and every comment will be read and answered by me as well. Thank you very much for your time, guys. See you next time.